When I toasted marshmallows as a kid, they came out of a bag. But one family always made their own. And now, you can taste the sweet, puffy results yourself.
Growing up, I remember when I was young, my mother used to make marshmallows, and so I just took a basic recipe and I changed it a little bit and we tweaked it.
DeBrand Chocolates of Fort Wayne, Indiana now makes 4 varieties of homemade marshmallows: vanilla, cinnamon, cocoa, and berry. And unlike the marshmallows you find at most campfires, these are made almost entirely by hand. They start by hand mixing powdered gelatin and water. Once it sets, they transfer it to a giant mixer.
The gelatin is broken up just so it will melt faster.
Next, a syrupy blend is prepared in a separate pot.
We call that a sweet syrup, which is a sugar mixture that is boiled and then added to that mixing bowl.
And then, all that's mixed together with a giant whip.
Once that solution is mixed thoroughly, we will then add corn syrup, and we use a pure Madagascar vanilla.
Once the corn syrup and vanilla are in, the whip is shifted into a higher gear.
And that's when the magic happens. That's when this weird, hot, sweet liquid that doesn't look anything like a marshmallow will start to expand as air gets introduced into it and fill the mixing bowl and turn white and pillowy.
Now it's starting to look like a marshmallow.
You don't want to do it too much or too little. There's kind of a sweet spot to hit with making a good marshmallow.
To pinpoint that exact moment of marshmallow perfection, every now and then the cooks at DeBrand need to stop the whipping to dip a spatula in.
They will look for what we call stiff peaks. And if they are too soft and fall over, then we know we need to whip it a little bit longer. So we'll start the mixer back up again.
When they finally do see those stiff peaks, it's time to remove the whip and scrape off the excess. Is that not every kid's dream right there? Then, all that fluffy stuff is brought over to a giant table.
You see this fluffy white cloud of marshmallow just pour onto a table. It's one of the best things ever to watch. And from there, it's spread by hand and leveled out.
Believe it or not, that leveling out is one of the secrets to a perfect batch of marshmallows.
The marshmallow is so soft and still warm when it comes out of the mixer. So we do want to make sure that we give ourselves the best chance of not having the marshmallow tip too far in one direction or the other.
Once it's leveled, the giant marshmallow gets covered in a powdered sugar mixture and a blanket of parchment paper to set overnight. Sweet dreams.
Overnight, that marshmallow will set up and become firm, and you can actually feel it the next morning when you come in. You can put your hands on that parchment paper, and you can tell that it's firm enough to cut.
Once it's determined to be at the perfect firmness, it's time to turn this huge marshmallow into lots of little ones.
One of our kitchen employees will then use the cutter to go both lengthwise and widthwise across the entire table to produce a square marshmallow cut.
The sliced marshmallow is then broken up by hand into individual cubes, and it's a lot of cubes.
One batch of one table will make approximately 2,000 marshmallows. On a daily basis, we typically will make 2 tables a day.
Then it's one more dip in the flavor coating to make sure they don't stick to each other when they're packaged. Then what? Well, that's up to you.
Have one now, and then have one later. And maybe if they're feeling generous to share them with a few other people. Really, you can't really go wrong with a marshmallow any way you like to enjoy it.
True that.